We're live into the Chime community. We're live into the webinar. We got Randy Carroll from Chime, Brett Baker, who we just found out was an AI from the future. So thank you, Brett. Thank you. And we got Jay and Amanda. Thanks for joining us again. We'll be interviewing both of you. Can you do a short intro as to who you are and where you're located?
Sure. Go ahead. No, you're better at that.
So do you like that? Husband and wife, you can tell how much fun we have. So we are Jay Steinbeck, Amanda Alejandro. We are in St. Louis, Missouri. We are essentially a startup brokerage, really just a little over 2 years old. I come from the retail world. So I come from corporate structure. I owned and operated a 350 person, about $55 million retail operation over a few states. So all that big corporate-y things that everybody hates. But I understand retail processes, procedures, all those other types of things. Amanda, who's been in real estate for over 15 years, understands the game, knows exactly how to sell real estate. But essentially what we saw was just a massive gap in the industry for really just efficiencies across the board. So we joined forces, started the brokerage. Amanda started the brokerage in 2018. I sold my company in 19. We kind of merged her sales team with my back-end office team to create what actually is View Enterprises. And under View Enterprises, we own Realty Shop, which is our residential commercial brokerage, Realty Shots, which is our residential commercial real estate marketing company. So we do VR, all those things, big Matterport, all that fun stuff.
Video.
Yep.
Zoom meetings,
all those kind of fun things. And then we're launching Realty Ready, which is our acquisition flipping company here, just because there is no inventory. So we'll make our own.
I love it. Dude, I already have some questions. Who wants to go first?
Shoot, fire away.
Brett or Randy, because I already have a question.
I only have a quick comment. Go ahead, because I'm with Tristan. I have just a quick comment. What I really appreciate about Jay, and we learned this in the first time we did a video, Jay and Amanda, what they've built with their brokerage is you can hear all the services they offer. They are going in the exact opposite direction of so many brokerages of just trying to cut fees and then not offering anything for their agents, just kind of leaving them on an island. So Amanda and Jay are going the opposite direction and have built a killer business. And I know the questions that Tristan and Brett have are going to be way better than anything else I could say. So I'm going to stop now.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what angle to start with this. I do.
Go.
Talk to me about the media aspect of it. That's the part that I want to know. Like Tristan knew I was going to go right there. So hit me, because I did the same thing. When I got in, I saw what everybody else was offering, and I was like, well, crap, I can provide my own better media. So I had a whole media team in-house. Yep. Tell me about what you guys are doing with that, because that's something most agents don't understand when I talk to them. So this is way more fun.
Sure.
You get to kick it off.
Well, I can start from the creation of it, which was me. Obviously, I've been in the real estate industry for over 15 years. And like Jay said it best, there's so many inefficiencies, consistency in product. And obviously, I'm working with the consumer directly to give them the best of everything. And I couldn't always guarantee or control that. So maybe it was the OCD in me or something, but I was like, listen, I can offer something better and pull it in-house. Me and Jay discussed it. First, we started with residential photography, of course. That went from residential to commercial space, which we do full VR, floor plan rendering, video, drone. We can do websites, we can do commercials, we can do anything you want, not even just from residential real estate. It kind of expands out. And we do shoot countrywide, large facilities. Some are 30,000 square feet, some are 100,000+ square feet. But it birthed out of that need of these agents being able to get a photographer on site, consistent with the right equipment, giving their consumer that quality picture and product that they deserve.
Yeah, and so, to jump on that, Amanda had the idea and she goes, hey, we need this. And I was an avid, prosumer photographer for years. And so we had, and she's somewhere behind me, Victoria, who worked on my staff over in the retail operation. So I had 8 people in my marketing department. So we brought a couple of them over here. And one of the first things that we saw is just the inconsistency. is, every realtor had like, I love my photographer and his name is so-and-so and he shoots on this equipment and this is what it is. And so as you get busier and you need consistency, across an entire brokerage, sometimes, Billy isn't available. And sometimes, there's changes. So one of the first things we did was just the massive capital expense of, we have 3 full-time photographers. And so imagine all of them, some were Canon, some were Sony, and we just threw everything out. We bought all new from scratch. So it doesn't matter which photographer you get, they're all trained the exact same way. They all have the exact same equipment, the same lens, the same Matterport Pro 2s, you just across the board. So it doesn't, when you schedule with us, and again, whether it's internal to our company, or we also work for any other brokerage or realtor in town that can hire us, we're not the race to the bottom, but you get it, what product you're getting, and it's consistent and it's fast. So,
right.
So I want to touch, you said something, but sorry, Tristan, I have to go this angle with this, because in an inventory that we all have right now, right? We're all low on inventory. You brought something up though. You said you have your photographers can work for anybody else outside of your brokerage. I mean, anywhere, right? Like any
Sure.
Your photographer can work for anybody else in that industry, in that space. Have you guys ever thought about basically telling whoever you're shooting for, like, or whoever's doing the shoot, like, hey, what did you shoot today? Oh, you shot a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Where was it? Because that was my idea, like way back in the day. Like I'd have my photographer go out and be like, ooh, tell me about the inventory you found today.
Yeah, I mean,
we definitely know the inventory that we're editing for sure.
Yeah, we do see it, and a lot there, but realtyshots.com. I mean, everything that we build, we design to scale. I mean, again, we're in St. Louis now, but Realty Shop, Realty Shots, Realty Ready is all designed for us to start growing. Our expansion plans were a little put on hold last year for some unknown reason. So we've recovered, on there and expanded and grown. Right now, we're, as far as agent wise, we're adding between 5 to 7 agents a month. Photography and everything else. We have extra capacity because there's no listings. And if you shoot something on a Polaroid or a potato, it seems to sell. So certainly it's the desperation there. But no, I mean, it is crucial. And so if you're doing that in your business, absolutely. When you get to a certain size, it's a huge benefit to your agents in-house just to have that reliability to make sure it's done right.
So really well put together website, by the way, for Realty Shots. I like.
Thank you.
Big fan.
It's the whole thing's coming down. The whole thing's being replaced.
Being redone right now.
Yep. That was the power of Squarespace and the limitations of Squarespace.
Cool. Tristan, dive in, my friend.
Dude, I'm excited because we don't get to interview forward-thinking people like you as often at the level that you're doing it at, because you're playing in a different field here mentally, right? You're already you're already like 2-3 years ahead of where most agents and teams and brokerages want to be at. So my question for you is this: what are the ancillaries that you have right now that you think are going to pay off a year from now or 2 years from now, that you're barely looking at and saying, wow, these are going to be amazing, or I should have had these a year or 2 ago?
So
we've got a couple of things on the list that we're working through.
Yeah, I'd say as far as, when last time you interviewed us, it was about building a better brokerage. And, the nice thing is we're a startup, so we're a little over 2 years in. Mm-hmm. So we got to start, I come from, again, that large, corporate everything experience. So, we have, we talked about last time HR, and Erin would have been on with us today, but she's homesick. But one of the things I said when we were going to start this from scratch is I don't want to own a single server. I don't want to have a single phone on any desk. I don't, agents are, they're migratory birds, and they need to be able to go wherever they need to be and be fully functional. So, sure. A really robust CRM was one of the things that we look for, and we did, in depth for about 38 of them.
Yeah.
It was horrendous, and I never want to do it again. Please, Randy. And so, things like phone systems, we do have a full phone system, but the agents don't know what it is or where it is, and they never have to log into it because that's the way it should be. They have their cell phones, which they know and they're comfortable with. As far as Chime, and we can dive into this a little bit more, every one of them has the unlimited power, power package or dialer package. Yeah. Like we're all the same. There's no, so when we're talking about our agents, we don't collect bodies, so right now we're at about 33, 34 agents. And as we add them, we actually interview. And unfortunately, we decline a lot of agents that come in here because
I would say for every 4, it's likely 1.
Yeah.
But culture is everything. That ecosystem, speaking of all those tools and resources, it's really about creating efficiencies around that consumer and how they interact in the transaction and that agent, and really bringing them together and those consistent disconnects. So everybody in our company has to work in a cohesive unit and a cohesive culture for it to work. We're strong as our weakest link, so we are really discerning about what CRM we were going to use, or what dialers we were going to use, how the agents were going to adopt it, and how that consumer was going to experience it.
So you heard Zillow recently say that the processes and the whole system on the real estate side, on the real estate agent side of things, is broken and it's a mess. How do you solve for that problem?
Sure. So, actually, I think we've heard this quite consistently. And obviously, I've seen a lot of stuff going on lab coats recently about the showing time acquisition, et cetera. But one thing we can't forget, and obviously, we're huge proponents that the human experience in this type of transaction isn't going anywhere. It is important. Will there be corrections? Will there be changes in the market? Of course. There'll be disruptions. There'll be stability. But I don't disagree with Zillow in the sense that the consumer has gone to a place of more efficiency. They want more data. They want more ease of use. They want more interaction. They want more control. So how can we as a brokerage accomplish that as well, but give them that valued service of advocacy? Because this is the largest investment that most people are going to make in their life. We've done that a lot with our phone systems. We've done that with our culture, who we hire, how we hire, how our advocacy is looked at, how we use it, and Chime. We've been able to build in our vendors, build in our teams, build out our teams, and create those communication efficiencies that is lacking, I think, that the consumer feels with their agent.
Yeah. So and Amanda's 100% right on. And where I can add into it, I think that the number one, reason why Zillow is able to come and look down on this industry and say, "Oh my God, how broken is it?" is what the agents have done to it themselves. That they're everyone wants to be.
All due respect, just saying.
Right, you want to come to town or wherever you are, we'll hang out and have a drink. But
I want to go
really,
have a beer with you.
Me too.
We got coolers right over here. We'll grab one now. But really seeing, the reason that I entered and we entered this industry is because number one, it's a fabulous industry that you can change people's lives. You can have great careers, and really do an amazing thing. But just seeing how it's being destroyed from the inside out, seeing, what NAR is focusing on instead of any real issues, and then handing away really any power that the agents have to, it's
their data.
Yeah. It's really, like I said, I'm trying to walk the PC line of all this, but it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating to watch, people say like, "I'll sell your house for $200. And, and then you watch the consumer go down that path, and they don't understand why they're incredibly frustrated. They've got nothing but problems. They're not getting to close. We're the exact opposite. And we talked about this before. We are not a flat fee brokerage by any means. And we're not the cheapest on splits. What we are is a culture, and we are a true company. So we operate our entire company like a massive team. And when I say we're a company, we are our own brokerage. We're not powered by Keller Williams or CBG or any of these other guys. We have
and a lot of those things actually dilute the brand and the value of that consumer understanding that advocate too. It creates, people have lost the understanding of the value of a brand and what a brand does to you. And, doing this as long as I have, I forgot too. And that's why I set out to create a brokerage like I have, because I wanted to recreate that value again.
So what does a brand do for you in your eyes? What does that look like?
I'll tell you what our brand does for you. For
sure.
Yeah.
Right. So our brand is honestly all encompassing. I was a very frustrated agent. I started out as an independent agent, started a team, went from a team to a brokerage. I was at all big brand names, you name it. I've been in the industry since, because Crawl, my mom's been in real estate for over 30 years. And I kept running into the same roadblocks. I didn't understand what CBG meant. I didn't understand what Keller Williams meant. There were so many inefficiencies and it didn't have value to me. I still had to buy my own tools. I still had to buy my own resources. I still had to pay the split. I still had to pay, a brokerage's value is giving and encompassing all that to me and creating the efficiencies for me to do my job at a high level. I have no problem paying for that if I see the value coming back to me. And that's what a brand should mean, but that's what many brokerages just cannot figure out how to do.
And being what we've done, is, again, I come from, people hear corporate and like, oh, I don't want any corporate. I don't want that lifestyle. And we do understand, how the agents work. We do understand that everything's different. So, company culture doesn't have to be a negative thing.
Right.
We deploy, amazing systems for them that they never have to configure. Like, to be clear, our agents have never configured Chime. They don't even know what the preference panel is. All that is done for them. Their signatures is built out for them. Their dialers are set up for them. The websites are built out for them. The leads are purchased for them. We do mass marketing. I mean, we're spending close to $1 million a year in this market, just in marketing. And then we turn around and hand those right back over to the agents.
Right.
And we do that in phases. And we talked about the Alpha, Delta, Omega last time on your show. But we built repeatable systems that people can work, that also allow them to make the money that they want based on how much energy, effort they want to put in, while still having a life.
And having their, obviously with the teams, et cetera, the birth of all that and the independent, lead agents, obviously still keeping their individuality. I mean, respecting and adopting a brand doesn't make you lose your individuality or the somehow the consumer perceives you as less valuable. I think it's just the opposite. You seem stronger and more powerful because you're operating in a cohesive group that is successful.
Yeah.
So what's the goal for your company? Because you want to keep the culture intact. You want to keep the responsibility of you, the broker, right? The brand, making sure that those agents are growing and they have the individuality, but still feel like one unit, right? Because that's what you guys are doing really well. What does this look like 2-3 years from now? What's that vision that you have?
Just caught us after our strategic planning.
Yeah, so again, I coming from the corporate world, and to be clear, I am not a realtor. I'm not licensed. I don't sell homes. And she's not a broker. We hire lawyer brokers that work for us and work in the brokerage, and and work within those. So it allows us to take a step back and focus on how do we grow the company? How do we keep those cultures going? So we have, as COO, we have a chief operating officer, and her entire goal is to plan these things out. How do you grow? How do you make repeatable systems, processes, procedures? Because once we start moving to multiple offices in multiple states, those are really hard things to do. But it's not impossible. But it has to have a really tight core. And with that, and what we do today, and how we hire, and how we
growing those teams from within is obviously key identifiers.
Yeah,
we're building that culture from within, so that will help us expand out.
Yeah, and how we hire and how we operate is, again, there is no lone wolf in our company. There is absolutely nobody that has a separate CRM, has a separate list, has a separate phone system. It doesn't exist, and it's not allowed. Everything is operated. So everyone on here, for the most part, is either has Chime or understands Chime. But from our perspective, there is no private leads. They don't exist. Everything that comes in is a team lead. If it's your SOI, meaning your sphere of influence, then absolutely that is yours. We don't touch it, but we see it, and we can help you with it, and we can encourage it. And we have managers that sit over the top of those and make sure, are they getting stale? Because even if it's your SOI, even if it's your, an agent's individual lead and not a team lead, what harm is it for us to help them continue to nurture, continue to push? So
and to use our systems, deploy our marketing, use the things that actually work on our side of things. There's no reason they shouldn't use that. And they can refer within our system as well. So, I mean, it's a great place.
And that happens all the time where somebody has a lead. It's like, hey, I sold this person a house years ago. I'm swamped. And it's literally one click to just pass it over to another agent, and they retain all those phone logs, those text messaging, emails, everything. And that's the biggest key for us, and why we know we will be able to expand, is because there is no fragmented systems. When leads come in, they will pass through multiple people. We have a manager that's going to oversee all this, that's going to make sure that it goes from the initial phone call to the closing table very smoothly, even if there's 5 or 6 people involved in that process.
Sure.
I don't even, I think we're all related, but I just figured out that anybody that is in the group right now that is thinking like, I want to, grow a brokerage, I want to grow a team, to just re-watch this episode. You, in literally 26 minutes, you've given so much material that if a third of the people that are going to watch this would actually take that information and do something with it, they'd probably double their income next year. And that's not
I mean, we didn't
exaggerating.
even get into the increase in conversion with those efficiencies.
Yeah,
Let me tell you.
yeah.
I mean, the biggest problem in this industry is meeting the customer where they are, Zillow. If you can do that, you can convert.
Yeah, I mean, our Zillow conversion rate is
Insane.
over 75%.
Yeah, because
we
you
all know
have systems built in place. That's perfect.
There's no such thing as a bad lead. It's just meeting the customer when they're ready.
Yeah, and to be clear, we're on Facebook sometimes. We're around. We're all, we love doing these interviews on Lab Code Agents. You guys are have us anytime. But absolutely, there's a different way to look at this industry, and it doesn't have to be negative. It needs structure. And the reason why you're seeing Compass now, getting ready to go for $1 gazillion is because they've got it figured out. The reason why you see Zillow just tromping over everything is because they have a unified message. They are going through it. We're on the smaller end, but to be clear, the independent brokerage, the independent agent that is the voice of this industry. They still are.
But they're so broken apart. But they're actually the largest in number if you combine them as one unification.
I was going to say the biggest problem that I see in our industry is that we have too many people trying to do too many different things to try to fix the industry. If we actually could get enough people united, which is a tough word these days, but if you can get enough people united to actually do something, you actually see change. What Zillow did was they looked and said, here's how all the agents are screwing up. Let's do better. And they built a better mousetrap. I love Zillow's model. I love it. I think it's absolutely brilliant because they took a problem and they solved it. And everybody else that caused the problem is sitting back going, what? Why did this happen? How did we let this happen? Well, I went on a little rant in a Facebook group a couple days ago on this.
No,
So
and trust me,
really
we're having these same conversations. Let me tell you.
Tristan turns off the record button on here. We will be happy to join you on that rant. we just stay off social media.
We need to go have a beer.
That's so funny.
Yes.
On that, just so you know I don't know if you heard Top Producer sold to Constellation, which was a shock to me. They own
Maybe
market.
they'll fix it.
Really?
And I'm like, okay, because everybody goes to die at Constellation. I don't know if you know that, but
Right.
Yeah, everybody goes to die at Top Producer.
Yeah,
I'm the tech guy, and I can't use Top Producer.
dude. It's yeah. So Constellation bought it. I don't know why, but they also
Torchex years ago.
They also threw in 5 Street in there. And so I was thinking, I'm like, what's the play on Realtor.com side of this? And I used to be super connected with Realtor.com. So I called up everybody and I'm like, what's up? And so I came up with a conclusion that they're trimming the fat to possibly sell. And the only buyers for Realtor.com right now are CoStar because they want to keep up with Zillow. And then if that happens, like 2 monsters. And I mean, who survives?
Monsters
that?
literally at war with each other because we know CoStar hates Zillow.
And who survives that? Companies like yours, like Brett's.
Right.
Those are the only ones that survive, right?
Everybody's so focused on disruption. It's just like, where's the group that's focused on stabilizing? Like there are simple fixes for unification that just they're not focused on it.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna go ahead and just rag on a little. If we're going down this rat hole, I can just briefly touch it. I really am disturbed by how you see a lot of these brokerages. They're not making money by any other way, but just how much can they get out of their agents. They don't care about how their agent. They don't care if their agents succeed. They don't care if the clients have a good experience or not. They are simply recruiting machines They provide them nothing, they give them no training, and they will cut that agent off for nothing. One of our largest successes has been to rescue agents like that are truly like, they are really good people. They are so lost in the world, or ones that they've always been part-time and they have no idea. They're like, I love this, but I don't know how to get to make this a full-time job. Or third, you have the ones that are like, I would love to get into real estate, but I've gone to all these seminars and this, and I leave and I still have no idea what's going on.
They literally have no idea where they should even be. Like, they're just lost as soon as they walk in the door.
We don't care how long they've been in the industry. You're going to spend 60 to 90 days working with a mentor in our brokerage.
Minimally. Yeah.
Just across the board. And that doesn't even mean that, again, so again, everything we're talking about is corporate standards you'd find in any large company.
Right.
But it just seems like the real estate world has just shunned these and moved over to, I don't even understand in some cases, which is why it's been so much fun to build what we built.
That's true, man. Well, you guys are doing an amazing job. Go ahead, Brent.
I was just about to say, you're about to be about 2.5 hours away from me here soon. I can't tell anybody where I'm moving yet, but I'm moving. And you're going to be about 2.5 hours away from me. So that's going to be beer territory. I will drive that far for beer.
2.5
Absolutely.
hours.
So
I'm trying to think.
I like that Tristan's like, where?
2.5 hour radius. Okay.
It's like, can I get there too? That maybe he'll get out of his house
that's
office.
either
I
like Lake of the Ozarks.
He wants to come now.
Yeah, there you go. We we'll talk after this.
Sure. Yeah. Let's hook up.
I love it. All right. So then we've only got a couple minutes because these that we do on Chime are shorter. We want to be more impactful, and you've definitely given all the impact, which is beautiful. I have one more thing, and then if Brett or Randy want to chime in, they definitely can. So here, in regards to what you're building right now, I think I get to interview a lot of people, and so does Brett and Randy. Damn, you guys always impress me. And I talk to a lot of people in this world, okay? So
we appreciate that.
I was gonna say, you are quite social there.
Seriously, what you guys are doing is really beautiful to see, because it just shows me personally that there are some amazing people out there that are doing great things. And I think you're doing it at the highest level possible that anybody can be doing it at. And you're functioning, even though you're small, you're functioning at such a deep, big company mindset level, which is really cool to see. And so this is the question I have for you. Do you have one person in your organization that's in charge of implementing all of the technology that you get so that it functions, so that all the drips get placed in correctly, so that Chime's working all the time, right? And nobody complains? What does that look like if you do have anybody like that?
It's a combination of the two of us. So I have a tech background, CIO for a decade plus, and then CEO. So I get to put my tech hat on, and Chime is really great because it is so user friendly. I mean, the bigger problem I have is when I'm trying to tie in some of our other systems into Chime. That's where it gets a little complicated, and I usually reach for some outside help. But as far as the drips and everything else, Amanda builds those out. She is, again, she's the president of our company. She owns and runs this thing, but she's still actively practicing real estate, and that's one of our real core.
I am the customer, and I intend to always be a practitioner in that sense, so that I can keep it on edge and understand what these agents need and what the consumer needs to see.
Yeah, there's at least once or twice a week I hear from her like, "You're not a realtor. You don't get it. Do it this way. No more talking." I'm like, "Fine, whatever."
We are our own breed, man.
Yeah.
That's what makes you guys so special, right? It's like Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, or like Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. It's like you can't.
We'd love to be in that field, but I'll kind of throw something in there that's going to blow a little bit of most people's minds on here. Is we hate automation. Like, Chime has amazing AI and bots and all the stuff that's in there. We use none of it.
We do it in a different way.
Yeah,
we don't hate automation, but we're very much in control of how things go.
We are very about the human interaction. We are very much, we do team meetings multiple times per week, bring them in, we're going to talk to them and make sure that everyone's on the same page. We do training twice a week. on systems and tools and procedures. And really there is, no matter how great it gets, there is no substitution for an agent sitting down, focusing in on all their tools and helping a homeowner, find what they need. And I think that there is a lot of things that if you're an independent and you have no backup support, I mean, but we have transaction coordinators here in house that they can walk over and talk to or online. We have,
Managers and mentors,
marketing, and yeah, I mean, there's just people around to get these tasks done. So we don't need as much automation. It's nice that it's there, but we just don't use much of it.
I love it.
We pick and choose.
Brett, Randy, anything else you want to add or any other questions you had here in closing?
I have so much more that I could talk about.
Well, why don't we turn this into, why don't we flip this over next week to a lab code agents
Ooh,
discussion?
Oh gosh,
Randy,
rapid fire.
You want to throw this in? And I know, guys, if you want to do a podcast for lab codes, that would be that we can go in deeper as well. So not just a webinar, but
100%.
Perfect.
I could literally just unpack this for hours because you guys are.
Yeah, let's have fun.
It's cool to see that you guys are. Here's the thing, like I get depressed a lot going through a lot of the chat rooms and stuff like that, Facebook chat. I get depressed because I look at where the industry has been and where it's going. You guys are actually, this is like the first time I've been sitting here like, heck yeah, finally somebody gets it. And it's cool to see this kind of growth. And I actually really, really like, Jay, that you are not from the real estate industry. I like that you're bringing in corporate stuff into it because you're running it like a business, which I've been trying to tell agents to run it like a business forever. Like since I could crawl, when my dad was running his brokerage, it was like, come on. So it's very refreshing and it's really, really cool to see you guys doing this. You guys have brightened my day.
Well, thank you. No, and we chat with Randy all the time. Usually it's complaints and questions. But he's always
you two do that. I stay out of it. I just yell at him and then he comes to you.
But to be clear, and again, we do know this is a Chime discussion. We really do want to say like Chime is mission critical to what we do. We may have our frustrations but at the end of the day, they do continue to move forward. They do listen to their clients, us as the consumer. And we have the flexibility within the system so that everything we're talking about lives within one. I mean, every phone call, every text message, every email is sent and received through Chime.
Yeah, I mean, definitely use the tools that are there already. I mean, even if you're using at a lower level than we are, I mean, just having that efficiency, having that communication live in one place can be a game changer for independent agents, like really. Having that document stuff in there, being able to put notes to yourself, just so many just little efficiencies when we as agents are running around in 14 to 20 different systems, selling, jumping out of the plane, doing accounting. Like it's just better to have some things in one place. So speaking to the individual agent, they feel your pain. There are some really great resources in there to use.
Very true, guys. Do you know Jeff Fitzer, USA Mortgage in St. Louis?
Yeah.
All right,
Sure
perfect. Do. He's a really good friend of mine. So he runs our Lab Code Agents podcast. So great. I'll just connect you guys and you guys can do that as well.
Yeah, I think he did a video on one of my listings for TikTok one time.
Oh, nice.
Like, well, look at you.
He is a TikToker. He
was using the TikTok, I'm pretty sure.
Love it. Well, Jay, Amanda, thank you so much. We were all really impressed and had a lot of fun learning here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Be good. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all. Y'all take it easy.